You want to make friends? You want to be popular? You want to stop the undeniable, self-destructive, unstoppable fear that you will die alone with no friends or family by your side as you take your final breath, looking at the ceiling of an unknown hospital, wondering, what was it all for? Just as you hear a faint monotone beeping in the distance guiding you into the vast oblivion. You want to be part of a community? A while back, I got this comment from Catherine asking me to make a video about loneliness and making friends as an adult. And as somebody who moved halfway across the world and started a new life for myself here in Europe, and is also an adult, I thought the topic was quite fitting. I had to find new friends, and better yet, I had to integrate myself into already very well-established friend groups. Friend groups of people that have known each other since childhood. And that's a scary place to be in a spot knowing that in the back of your mind, no matter how long you stay a part of this group, you'll always think of yourself as not being as a part of the group as the others. So long story short, I have some personal experience with this. With that in mind, I was very happy to make this video and offer any sort of tips and tricks of the trade that I've learned about infiltrating European friend groups over the last 4 years. So I was committed to this idea, and for weeks, at every gathering, at every get-together, hangout, party, event, you name it, I only had one thing on my mind. And that was asking other people what they thought about the concept of making friends as an adult. Honestly, I got some great insights out of it, from both my friends and also my own personal ponderings of the concept itself. And I will explain those things later in this video, but something wasn't right. I spent months stuck in this phase of conceptualization, and it was up until recently that I figured it out. While these tips and tricks are great in their own regard, it wasn't enough to fill out all 5 pages of the prompt of explain what it's like to make friends as an adult. It's just the tail end of it. The process of curbing loneliness in the pursuit of new friends begins way before you're surrounded by people. So let's go through the different steps that I came up with and how to get into those different social circles that you'll actually be interested in making friends within. And then at the end, I'll give you some of the different insights that I found while conducting my social research. All right. Let's go. Okay, so there's 3 levels of relationships that'll make you feel more, So there are 3 different levels to building relationships that'll make everything seem a little bit easier to tackle. We have emotions, activities, and interests. We have the YMCA stage, and then we have expectation layer. So at first, you gotta figure out emotions, activities, and interests that mean the most to you. And as you can see, this is where everything is holding itself. This is where it's holding. And it's holding the base of everything else that goes forward, which is why this one is the most important. And at any point, if this goes unbalanced, it tips. But for this layer, what you have to do is you have to find the emotions, activities, and interests that mean the most to you. For me, I thought about this for a while and I came up with these 3: intellect, aggression, and dorkiness. I enjoy intellectual and deep conversations, whether it be about politics, history, life, philosophy, psychology, you name it. It's a very big part of my life, and I would appreciate that being the basis of the rest. I also come from a rather active background, and a slight history of suppressing a very powerful yet important emotion, my rage and anger. And I also enjoy the dorkier things in life, like Magic the Gathering, fantasy video games, and what was once a niche interest in social media content creators.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
But in all honesty, you can kind of fit this however you want it. Whatever emotions that you feel are not being represented as much, any sort of activities that you've liked in the past or can like currently but just have nowhere to go with it, or your interests that are really important to you, this is where we're going to denote them specifically. And then that leads us to the YMCA stage. And just as a side note, I have a better version of this that you can take a screenshot of now. Here's where you'll find everything for you to enjoy, regardless of whether you're a young man or a young woman. Jokes aside, this stage is where you'll find a place you can go to fulfill these different emotions and interests. Find clubs, find groups, find teams, find areas where other people are doing things that you're interested in, and sign up. Or just go. This can be a recreational sports team in your area, a local one-piece card game tournament, or even a finer things club where you can discuss the higher society things in life, like Bridgerton or Nietzsche This is the level of the pyramid that will put you in the places where you'll be able to meet the people of like-minded interests and emotions and activities. There's more of a sense in making friends with people that share your common interests, so you gotta join the communities. So for instance, I've been planning to fulfill this aggressive activity piece that's been lacking for a while. Last year I tried baseball again, and honestly, it was a little bit too much of a commitment. So this year I've been playing around with the idea of going back to Muay Thai. I took classes back in the States before I moved here, and it was great. It was great people, it was a great workout. It taught me a little bit of discipline. I learned how to fight a little bit, protect myself, and all of which I appreciate. So I would also assume to meet people that share the same values if I were to do the same thing here. Now there is this gym in my area that I've been eyeing for the last few months, and I'm just terrified to go there. I don't want to be an outsider again, and it's fucking scary. But I also don't want to let that fear stop me from being able to fulfill these emotions, activities, and interests in my life, which is why right now, I'm gonna sign up for classes. I'm gonna do it right here. Right now. I can't preach this method without doing it myself. So here we go. Let's do cards so I can write it off on taxes. Should I put an emergency contact for a Muay Thai gym? I can add it later. So there we go. Thursday at 1 p.m. I have a class. A Muay Thai class. Now, do it yourself. Right now. That class or group that you've been meaning to sign up for and you haven't, but you have it right in mind right now, go sign up. Do it. Now. I can wait. Do it. Do it. Do it. And while I'm waiting, I do want to denote something. What I found is that I don't need a specific person to fulfill all of those different needs. You'll have active friends that you do sports and activities with. You'll have your intellectual friends that you'll talk about philosophy and relationship psychology and all that stuff with. And then you'll have others that'll fill the other parts of your life too. But you have to understand the expectations of these different people and how they're going to play a part into your life. Which brings us to the final level of the friendship making pyramid, and that is the expectation layer, which will also include all of the tips and tricks that I've learned through this experiment. Labeled the expectation layer, it's all about how you approach the interactions that you've now built for yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna riff on this part without a script because I feel like it's like the most complicated part of the process for me to explain, which is funny because usually you would write things down, but I feel like it needs a more like in the moment human touch to explain it. I mean, aside from this section of like knowing yourself, with which I have a book suggestion for you. It's right here, but I'll put it right here as well. Getting to know all the different sides and aspects of your emotional basis and being able to explain that might help you figure out where you're lacking or what's important to you or where you want to go with that. But at the same time, please don't overthink it. If you want to try things, just think about the things that you want to fulfill and go try it. It might not always work, but at least you have a basis to jump off of and you can move it the whole way through the thing. This will always be useful. What I'm about to explain, I feel like this is very useful, and I go into social situations and I forget it sometimes, and I'm like, should have, Anyways, sorry for the rant. So let's just have a seat, shall we? Come on. So the expectation layer. I'm gonna explain this to you by giving you an example of a typical night out for me when we go and hang out with a group of friends. I have a buddy of mine who 2 years ago bought me a Yu-Gi-Oh card for my birthday. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid, so this was cool to have like somebody else in Germany be like, oh shit, I know he's gonna like this. And it unlocked this whole side of me that I didn't remember until that. Like I opened this thing and I saw a Time Wizard and I was like, fucking cool, this is awesome. This guy. From that point on, every single time that we would be at a party together, I would have a new card on the back of my phone, as would he. And it would be this kind of expectation to go in and always go to him and always have this certain conversation. And a few times it would turn into something a little bit more interesting and like deeper. And like I got to know him so well through this situation that the more we would go to parties that included him, the more I expected to have these deep level bonding conversations. But the problem with that is that the times that it didn't happen, my whole night was kind of thrown for a loop because I had such an expectation that I would go in and have this amazing conversation with a friend of mine that didn't end up happening. And then I start wondering, okay, are we even really that good of friends? Like, do we actually know what to talk about? Because when I would go to force it and I would go and try to like, oh dude, check what I got, and I'd show, and then he'd be like, yeah, I didn't change mine this week. And then you just kind of sit there both thinking like, oh shit, we got to talk about something. But then it's already, the expectation was there to have that connection, and it just didn't work. So what I figured out about this whole thing is to have little to no expectations when going into social situations. Go in with an expectation to have conversations and be open about yourself and talk about your own interests, but don't expect to have a specific conversation with a specific person unless you have this whole like script out in your mind of like you're upset with them and you need to talk to them. I remember when doing this whole experiment at the beginning of all of this, when I first got the comment from Catherine, I was going into these parties and asking people about what they think about this concept, and the people that I had the best conversations with were the people I wasn't necessarily expecting to. And it's not because I didn't think that they were capable of doing so. It's just, we just never talked on that level before. And it was great. It was like unlocking this different connection with a new person. But with that, you have to be careful that the next time you see them, you don't have that same expectation. Again, people ebb and flow. People move in like the things that they're interested in, their energy, their willingness to participate, all of that determines how a conversation is going to go. So if you have a great conversation with a person one week, and then the week after that, you go back and you're expecting to have just the same deep conversation with them again, there's a chance it's not going to happen. And as long as you guys, and again, this comes back to the whole pyramid, where if you're like putting yourself in social groups and situations and areas where there's a possibility of people being more like-minded to you, or share interests or values, then there's a higher chance that you're going to have one of these conversations. When I recognized I was going into these places, especially as being an outsider to some degree, you feel the pressure to push yourself into things, and you feel the pressure to really insert and integrate into these different social groups, that sometimes that becomes kind of your enemy. So by removing yourself from that position of feeling like the outsider and really allowing yourself to just take a form within the group, naturally, it yields the best outcome. I have had countless great conversations with people that I did not think I would ever have. And in all honesty, the topic of what do you think about making friends as an adult is not the most enticing conversation. Like when you look at it, you're like, why would you walk into a social situation and ask people something like that? But you know what? The people that were into it and really enjoyed the question and really took the time to answer it and talk to me about it, we had a great time. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but at the same point, they didn't leave. They didn't leave the conversation, probably because I was cornering them in the room. It's hard. It's hard to be an outsider with that and making friends, even outsider in your own community. But at the same time, openness, vulnerability, and lowered expectations of what you're expecting to happen could be the best way for you to stumble upon something great. So with all that being said, Catherine, I hope that answered your question, and I hope that helps a little bit. As well as I hope this helped anybody else that's looking for some sort of solution on how to make friends as an adult to feel a little bit less lonely. Good luck out there, and if you have any questions or comments, throw them down in the comment section below, and I do my best to try to answer all of them. So yeah, subscribe for more, hit the like button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm here. Said I'd do it, so we're gonna give it a try. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, that was That was a lot, but you know what? I think I made a friend.